Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery. Made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile. Saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record.
For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to For the Record. Today is Monday, the 10th day of May 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had an enjoyable weekend. All of you mothers out there, we hope and we trust that you had an enjoyable day yesterday, that you were treated like the royalty that you are. And we advise all of those, everyone, that every day really should be a Mother's Day. Our mothers, our women do so much for us. They have done so much in the past, and they continue to do so much. We really, really need to appreciate it. Show our appreciation not only on the second Sunday in May, but every day of the week we need to show our appreciation to our women and to our mothers as well. For those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands this morning, if you're a pedestrian, if you're a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember that by following the rules of the road, using common sense, that the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you celebrated one over the past few days, like Mr. Delano Solomon and Mrs. Shelley Cupid, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday that was celebrated last week as well. Or if you're going to celebrate one in the next few days, between now and Wednesday, we want to wish you a happy one when it comes also. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you, and we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will continue to be a blessing to you as well. For those of you who are ill, either at home or at a medical facility, we want to wish you a speedy recovery. Say to you, keep the faith, stay strong as well. Today, we will have guests in the studio around about 9 o'clock. So until then, we're going to have our phone lines open for people to call. If you want to have any questions, comments, want to discuss anything, certainly COVID-19 and the vaccination process in the Cayman Islands continues to be topical for us and an important part of our strategy to combat the COVID-19 situation. And we had a press release issued on the 8th of May, and the Public Health Department published latest schedule for the COVID-19 vaccine clinic from the 10th of May, that is today, until the 31st of May. Dose 1 and 2 remain available to all persons over the age of 16, regardless of your surname. So irrespective of what your surname is, either dose 1 or dose 2 remains available to all over the age of 16. And the latest vaccine schedule, if we look at today, just looking at the schedule here for starting on the 10th of May. Let's find that information for you. Okay, that's not the 10th of May. Okay. That's April-May's schedule. We'll have to find the 10th of May, but I will share that information with you. Meanwhile, what is significant, again, we talk about our success here in the Cayman Islands as far as the battle with COVID-19. In Bermuda, what has been discovered recently, and I think this is important for us here in the Cayman Islands to understand the dynamics of it. They have found out that a total of 88% of the persons admitted to hospital in Bermuda with COVID-19 over the last few weeks were not vaccinated. And that information, that fact was expressed by the Bermuda Hospital Board. They said that 81 patients treated between March 14th and May the 1st had not had the vaccine. 10 or 11% had received one dose, and 1% had both doses. The chief of staff at the Bermuda Health Board said that although one patient had received 2 doses, hospitalization was inside 2 weeks of completion, which meant that full immunity in relation to that person had not been reached. He is quoted, Dr. Wesley Miller is quoted as saying, with a significant portion of the population now either fully vaccinated or having had one shot, that these people make up such a small proportion of hospitalizations indicates that there is a protective effect even before you reach full immunity, which is 2 weeks after your second shot. I also said that if vaccination didn't work or caused more illness, the numbers would be very, very different altogether. So again, pointing to the fact that the vaccine does work. He also says that, in fact, if we hadn't had people vaccinated during this surge, hospitalization numbers and deaths could have been even higher. And remember now, they were up to 30. I think they had another death over the weekend, so they were up to something like about 31 deaths in Bermuda as well. So he's saying that if the number of persons who have been vaccinated if they had not been vaccinated, then the numbers would have certainly been very different. And I believe what he's saying there is that it would have been higher. He added that it was likely that because those who ended up in hospital were usually at least 2 weeks post-infection, they may have become infected very soon before or after their first shot when immunity was low. He also added we should be reassured that we are seeing the same kinds of results in Bermuda as the rest of the world. Vaccination is safe and protects you from serious illness and hospitalization. The vaccine teaches your own immune system to recognize and fight the virus if you are exposed to someone with COVID-19. If you are not fully immunized and fall ill, the next line of defense will be medications, and if serious enough, other interventions to help you breathe. They will use other interventions. He also warned that COVID-19 will continue to impact the lives of people unless you have, as a community, stand together. Unless you, as a community, stand together. And that holds true for us here in Cayman as well. He goes on to say that our own immune system is the most powerful protection that we have. We need to nurture it with healthy living so it is strong, and teach it to recognize the virus with vaccination so it can respond quickly. He also told the public that the first time your immune system sees the virus is when you are exposed. Then it takes 2 weeks to build antibodies. That is a long time for COVID-19 to do damage, and this can lead to more serious illness. He's also quoted as saying that the same fragments of the spike protein in the vaccine are enough for your body to be ready, and they break down and leave your body without any other damage. Dr. Miller added that increased restrictions had worked to minimize transmission risks, but were not a long-term solution. He says getting vaccinated is preventative. There have been no hospitalizations caused by vaccination, despite nearly 60,000 doses being delivered in Bermuda. He also added that there had been almost 2,000 coronavirus cases in the latest outbreak that they had a few weeks as well. So that is his refrain to the people of Bermuda, again, encouraging people to be vaccinated, talking about the positive aspects of vaccination, because as we know, just like other jurisdictions, including the Cayman Islands, there was a high percentage of vaccine hesitancy. Now, we know that there was a vaccination drive at Owen Roberts International Airport on Saturday. We know that the government, our ministers and members of parliament, some members of parliament would have been at Owen Roberts International Airport, either being vaccinated or encouraging persons to be vaccinated as well. We're awaiting the results, the numbers from that drive on Saturday. And when we do get that, we will certainly be sharing that with you. So, folks, at this point in time, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
On June 22, 1863, the Act for the Government of the Cayman Islands became law, which made all British acts that were valid in Jamaica applied to the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands were made subordinate to Jamaica in two respects. First, the Supreme Court of Jamaica was to have jurisdiction over islands for legal action, which could not lawfully be tried in the Cayman Islands, and it gave the Governor of Jamaica the right to exercise authority over the Cayman Islands. Although certain powers were reserved for Jamaica, the local legislature in Cayman was finally recognized.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist. Step Right Up, the second annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Ballroom. Step Right Up supports the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving precious life. The Rotary Central Gala, The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist, sponsored and supported by Wheaton Precious Metals, Nelson Attorneys at Law, Massive Equipment, Cayman Spirits. Rotary opens opportunities.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamp Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes. Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Choo-choo. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings. Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. I'm going to now share with you the Health Services Authority's vaccine schedule and the statement put out last week and on the weekend. So the Public Health Department, they've published their latest schedule for COVID-19 vaccine clinic, 10th of May to 31st of May 2021. Dose 1 and 2 remain available to all persons over the age of 16, regardless of the surname. The latest vaccine schedule has been expanded to include more evening hours. Listen to this, folks. The vaccine schedule has been expanded to include more evening hours and additional locations in the districts as well as Camana Bay. So those new hours we're going to start with today, and I'm going to give you for this week, right? Today, Monday the 10th, Owen Roberts International Airport, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Remember now, doses 1 and 2, anyone over the age of 16, you can go. If you're going for dose 2, of course, you know that the time period has, you have the date basically on which you can return from your second dose after your first dose. You shouldn't go before. You can go on the exact date that they have on there for you, or you can go after. For dose 1, anyone irrespective of your surname. So from 11 a.m. this morning until 3 p.m. this afternoon. And then for those persons who can't make it at that time, from 4:30 this evening until 7 p.m., you can go to Owen Roberts International Airport to be vaccinated. The same thing applies for tomorrow, Tuesday, the 11th of May, Owen Roberts International Airport, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4:30 p.m. until 7 p.m. Then on Wednesday at Camana Bay, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. on Wednesday. On Thursday, Owen Roberts International Airport, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's on Thursday. On Friday, Camana Bay, and that changes now, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4:30 to 7 p.m. And on Saturday, back at Owen Roberts International Airport from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's for 3 hours. And then from 12:30 to 4 p.m. That's on the 15th of Friday the 15th of May. And then starting a week from today, of course, the 17th is a holiday, so no vaccines on that day. So again, we see the Health Services Authority, the government expanding the schedule for persons to be vaccinated. They have expanded the times. Those persons who had difficulty getting there during the course of the day, either because of work or other issues. So from 4:30 to 7 p.m. you can go and be vaccinated as well. That is today at Owen Roberts International Airport. If you're unable to make it, from between the hours of 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., then go 4:30 to 7 p.m. We're hearing positive news about people being vaccinated, more and more persons. Again, it seems as if some of that hesitancy had to do with people just waiting to see what the reaction of others would be, and sometimes waiting weeks, waiting months before they make a decision. I believe at some point in time that the government, I'm not sure whether or not these statistics are being kept in terms of the number of persons who are on work permits and being vaccinated. But maybe at some point in time, the government needs to consider the renewal of work permits, whether or not they want to put some proviso in there about persons being vaccinated as well. Because one thing to bear in mind with all of this, right? Yes, people are required to have health insurance. Employers are required to provide that along with their employees. But with the travel situation the way it is, if persons who are on work permit become ill in the Cayman Islands as a result of COVID-19 and are unable to travel, that burden to a certain extent rests on the government of the Cayman Islands, or at least our facilities here in the Cayman Islands, to address their issues, to give them the necessary care. So if that responsibility is there, then why is it that the government can't then insist that those persons who are on work permits should be immunized? Some people may say, well, if you're going to do, what about Caymanians? Why can't you insist on them? Well, being Caymanian is either you obtain the right to be Caymanian or you inherit your Caymanian status of sorts. I use that word loosely, inherit. Whereas the issue of a work permit in the Cayman Islands is discretionary. It is up to the statutory authorities, the boards that have been designed and created to issue work permits. It's a discretionary measure. There is no right, inherent right to a work permit. So while persons who are Caymanians are in a completely different position, those persons who are here on work permits, they are here at the pleasure of the government. And if the government has certain responsibilities to ensure that structures are in place to provide you with proper health care through insurance and otherwise, then the government, I believe, has the right to insist that if you hear as our guests at our pleasure that you should be immunized. I'm sure that there will be those who will contest such a decision if it were made, but that's what the courts are for, to resolve any issues that may be need to be resolved as well. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock news, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio K-Man time check is now 8 a.m. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Want even more great deals every time you shop?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Well, Foster's now have an even larger weekly specials catalog with deals in every department, just like Nature Valley granola bars, 2 for $6. Save $3.98 on 2.
And I found Ben & Jerry's ice cream, selected varieties for just $4.69 each. Save $2.30.
But hurry, price is good until May 19, 2021.
You can find more big deals in store or by visiting fosters.ky. Fosters, better prices because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Public Health Department has released the latest schedule for the COVID-19 vaccine starting today through the end of the month. Officials say the schedule has been expanded to include even more evening hours and more locations in outside districts as well as Cumana Bay. Dose 1 and 2 remain available to anyone over the age of 16, regardless of surname. Health Services Authority's Chief Nursing Officer Dr. Hazel Brown explains the second doses are being administered at a minimum of 21 days after the first jab.
Therefore, all first doses for this last batch of vaccine must be administered prior to June 10. High levels of vaccine coverage are the best defense against the re-entry of COVID-19 into our shores once the borders reopen. So come out, protect yourself, your family, and our entire community against COVID-19.
A face mask is still required, and officials are advising you to bring your own. Everyone must present a photo ID showing their date of birth. The most up-to-date schedule is posted at hsa.ky as well as radiocayman.gov.ky. The Public Works Department and National Roads Authority have teamed up to get hurricane ready for the 34th consecutive Joint Hurricane Preparedness Exercise. More from Radio Cayman, Shanda Gallego.
Close to 170 PWD and NRA staff fanned out across Grand Cayman to inspect some 97 government buildings for hurricane preparedness ahead of the hurricane season, which starts on June 1st. All 15 purpose-built hurricane shelters are found to be ready and available for shelter if needed. According to officials, teams tested for overall hurricane readiness, shuttered up key government buildings and shelters, checked and started standby generators, and verified that cistern water levels were at an acceptable level and state. Once the facilities were shuttered, inspectors also carried out detailed inspections to certify that the buildings are adequately secured. This exercise replicates the activities that will take place in the event of a real hurricane. The long-established standard is for the exercise to be completed within 6 hours. This year's exercise took 5 hours and 10 minutes. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. The Palestinian Red Crescent says more than 300 Palestinians have been hurt in clashes with police at one of the most sensitive sites in Jerusalem. Israeli police fired stun grenades, rubber bullets and tear gas at stone-throwing protesters around Al-Aqsa Mosque. More than 20 officers were injured. There are fears of more violence today ahead of a march by Jewish nationalists. Emergency legislation has taken effect in the US to keep fuel supplies flowing after cybercriminals targeted the country's largest pipeline. Colonial says its main pipeline remains out of action following Friday's ransomware attack. The Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has ordered government forces to match a 3-day ceasefire announced by the Taliban to mark festivities at the end of Ramadan. In a statement, President Ghani also called for the insurgents to announce a permanent truce and return to peace talks. A planned trip to Japan by the head of the International Olympic Committee to review preparations for this summer's games has been postponed because of the coronavirus. Thomas Bach had been due to travel next week. It's now thought he'll visit in June. About 100 Roman Catholic churches in Germany are holding blessings for same-sex couples today in response to the Vatican rejecting such ceremonies. Thousands of priests have signed a petition describing the Vatican statement in March as hurtful to gay members of the church. Police in northwest Nigeria say about 10 people are still missing after gunmen stormed a mosque and abducted worshippers. Some 40 people were seized in Katsina State. Kidnappings for ransom are common in the area. An indigenous group in South Africa has condemned a decision to go ahead with a multi-million-dollar development in Cape Town, which will include Amazon's African headquarters. The Khoi community says the site is on sacred land. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended August 31st, various life cycle funds provided returns between 9.2% and 16.5%, and our all-in expense ratio is currently the lowest it's ever been, a record low at 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
I'm looking for a new pizza joint with that perfect crust. My car needs a bit of a tune-up, and my pregnant wife needs something from the pharmacy. So I turned to the printed yellow directory, and in an instant, the pizzas are ordered, the oil change is booked, and the thing that I'm not allowed to say out loud has been purchased for my wife. Problem solved. When you need something quick, do yourself a favor. Flip through the printed yellow directory. Stop searching, start finding. Yellow, we know local.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to inform its valued customers that the public water service east of the intersection of Cross Road and West End East Road will be interrupted from 11:45 p.m. on Monday, 10th May until 3 a.m. on Tuesday, 11th May. This is to facilitate the installation of new water infrastructure in the area. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this interruption in service may cause and thanks you for your patience and understanding. The Water Authority will make every effort to complete these works and restore your water supply ahead of schedule to minimize your inconvenience. We thank you for your cooperation as we continue to work to improve service to to all their valued customers.
Children want to know you're listening to them, but they also want to listen to you. When it comes to alcohol or any drug, they want to know your expectation and how and why to stop underage consumption. Talking early and often about it in everyday conversation reinforces your message and keeps lines of communication open. For more information, visit ndc.ky. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
All right, good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your weather. Presently, there's some rainfall in the Georgetown area. The roads are wet, so be careful of that. But the rest of the island looks like it's partly cloudy. Some rainfall in the Georgetown area. Present temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Feels like about 86. Winds are out of the east at 10 miles per hour. Last night's low was at 75 for dew point. Relative humidity 73%. Barometric pressure is at 29.97 inches and rising. Moderate easterly winds and slight to moderate seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as a high-pressure system builds over the southeastern U.S. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area, moving towards the west. Forecast for today, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of morning showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Later tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of late night showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. High tide is coming up in the next 10 minutes at 8:22 a.m. It's going to be low at 2:47 this afternoon and high at 9:32 this evening. For tomorrow, low tide is at 3:31 a.m., high at 8:41 a.m., low at 3:12 p.m., and high at 10:05 p.m. Sunset this evening is at 6:50 p.m. Sunrise for tomorrow morning at 6:53. The outlook is for similar weather conditions through Wednesday morning. That's your latest weather right here on your Radio Cayman.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, break it down. Once the long-term goals are set, work backwards to set smaller and more manageable goals. These should be specific, measurable, and achievable. For example, study in the library for 1 hour 3 times per week instead of study more. Consider what you need to do daily, weekly, or by the end of the year in order to succeed. Smaller goals allow you to focus on the essential steps today to ensure you are prepared when tomorrow's opportunities become available.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
All right, good morning, Cayman. As you make your way into Georgetown, remember there's some rainfall this morning, so streets are wet, so please be careful out there while you make your way in. The east-west arterial traffic has cleared up that end, but of course the traffic is still milling around the Red Bay roundabout area and just outside the Hurley's supermarket area as well. It's crawling along as you make your way towards the Linford Pearson Highway and, of course, continuing on to Crew Road. Expect that slow pace about 12-15 minutes before you make your way into Georgetown. Similar if you're going through South Sound and continuing along South Church Street and on through via Walker's Road. Expect that usual traffic as you try to make it in to drop the kids to school along Walker's Road. Maybe a bit late, but better late than never. Coming out of West Bay, of course, onto the North Church Street. Expect some traffic there as well. Looking at the roundabout outside A.L. Thompson, very much busy in all directions, especially heading east towards the UC Water Authority area. Bit of traffic there. Coming off the Esley Tibbetts Highway as well. Up Phoenix Way looking busy. Eastern Avenue, Shedden Road, getting busy with the influx of traffic. Alder Avenue, those coming through Windsor Park as well. Onto Smith Road, expect that traffic. And along to the hospital as well, the four-way stop, expect that traffic there as well. Of course, all this clears up as the morning progresses. Be safe out there, buckle up, look out for people crossing, those on bicycles, motorbikes, and don't be texting while driving. Your traffic report, of course, brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
At Subway, we know a meal isn't quite complete without a side, and that's why we're introducing waffle fries. Subway's waffle fries are oven-baked softness with extra crispy edge, giving a satisfying taste to be enjoyed as is or in any of Subway's dipping sauces. Order waffle fries as a side item for $2 or make it a meal deal. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist. Step Right Up, the second annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Ballroom. Step Right Up supports the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving precious life. The Rotary Central Gala, The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist, sponsored and supported by Wheaton Precious Metals, Nelson Attorneys at Law, Massive Equipment, Cayman Spirits. Rotary opens opportunities.
Fellow Caymanians and residents, my Progressives and Alliance colleagues encourage everyone on our islands who have not been vaccinated to get the vaccine as soon as possible. It is really important to protect the health and well-being of all of us, including our loved ones. In addition, it will also ensure that we can safely reopen our borders in the months to come. Folks, we cannot stay in a bubble forever. So again, I plead with you, please go and get vaccinated.
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio. Enjoy a mix of pop, hip-hop,
dancehall, urban gospel.
The Super Jam Show is
brought to you by these kind sponsors.
The Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center. Don't take chances with your family's future.
The University of the West Indies Open Campus.
Find your place in the Cayman Dream today. The UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322. Train with Dre. Train with Dre's lunch weight loss program. Get your meals right and lose weight today. No excuses, no gimmicks. Call Dre today at 928-3420.
The Super Jam on Radio Cayman.
Next level 90s and 2000s cooler party coming to the Lion Center May 29th.
Super Jam, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. Before I do have a guest in the studio now, and before I introduce that guest, one of our listeners wrote in and basically said, good morning, OC. Nope. I'll share that with you afterwards. Okay, so it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Dr. John Lee, and he's here. We're going to talk about, of course, vaccinations. We know on the weekend that some members of cabinet were going to be at Owen Roberts International Airport, some to be vaccinated, some to encourage others to be vaccinated as well. And what I'm hearing, the anecdotal evidence that I'm getting is that it seemed to have been quite a positive reaction for persons coming out, the number of persons who came out. I know persons who were hesitant about taking the vaccine. They knew that they were going to probably take it at some point in time, but sort of were more reassured now of the efficacy and the importance of being vaccinated, and they in turn went and got their first shot as well. I know you may not have had an opportunity yet to look at all of the figures and everything in relation to the weekend, but Dr. Lee, welcome back to the studio, and anything that you may want to impart to our listening and viewing audience, we welcome you to do so as well.
Thanks, OC, and lovely to be here on a Monday morning. Lovely to have some rain this morning. If you got some of that, that was a pleasure.
I got it before that.
Okay. So yeah, we had a great day on Saturday, and my thanks to all of the cabinet and the governor for coming out, and the other ministers, and various politicians for coming out and supporting our vaccination drive as we're coming to the end of the doses we have, which expire at the end of June. We had over 1,000 people turn out on Saturday, which is a great number, pushing us back up to where we were maybe around a month ago. And there were 734 people who took their first dose. So that's a pretty good number. And then another just over 400 who got their second doses. And I have to say, I chatted to a lot of people who were there, and quite a few people, that come with their concerns, wanted to ask questions about their medical status, may have brought their medicines for me to have a rifle through. Oh, wow. And, I mean, that's understandable. People don't know what all these things are. It's safest just to bring them if they feel that they're a little bit unsure and speak to somebody. And so we were able to give them comfort because, as we know, most people are in fact eligible for the vaccine. 99.9% or more even are eligible for the vaccine. In Cayman, it's only for the Pfizer. It's only if you've been allergic to a component thereof. That's one of the major things, and you probably won't know that until you've had it the first time. Yes. And even so, that many people with a lot of allergies have been flying through it and it not having any problems at all. So a great day, and do please come forward because, as we know, the vaccines are going to expire at the end of June. So you need to come forward for your first dose before June 9th in order that you have 3 weeks in between the two doses. So please come forward this month, sometime in May. I think it's important to say that the vaccination availability changes every week. And this week you can find out the information at the HSA's website to find out what the availability is. But they are trying to work around people's schedules and make it particularly accessible for different people with different demands on their lives. Yes. So,
and we know today
it's available at the Owen Roberts, but at different times. We're trying not to have it at lunchtime so that people can come in their lunchtime. But also, it's available at the Camana Bay a couple of times this week. And also, as you look at the schedule going through the month, you'll see it's available at different spots around the island. So it's available in the west side and the east side of the country as well. So that's the availability. We're trying to suit everybody. So do please come along and get vaccinated.
Yeah, what I did this morning earlier was I gave the schedule for just this week rather than overburdening persons with all of the details. But further down in the month, for instance, on the 19th of this month, for instance, Bordentown Public Beach, between the hours of 5 and 9 p.m., that will take place. Then you will have in East End on the 26th, John A. Cumber Primary Hall from 5 to 9 p.m. on the 24th. So, and of course, I'm only here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but I will certainly continue to give the updates, until then. And so again, today from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. and then from 4:30 p.m. until 7 p.m. at Owen Roberts International Airport. And that's doses 1 and 2.
Yes, anybody can come along, basically.
Right.
And you'll see they're trying to avoid lunchtime so that if they've received the message that some people can't get there, they come during their lunchtime, find the place closed, and now they're trying to move their lunchtimes, the staff. So thanks very much to Public Health for their ongoing sensitivity and trying to make it as accessible as possible.
Okay.
I think quite a number of people have sent me an article, which is important to address, really, OC, and that's in the Seychelles. They quoted it as the most vaccinated island, where I think 60% of the people have had the vaccination, yet they're suffering an outbreak. But if you drill down and look at that in a bit more detail, that 60% is 60% of people eligible. So it's the same problem the world over, is that not many countries have have had the approval for the vaccination of children. And so what they're saying is the adult population, essentially. But we've done 59, which is near as you can to 60% will probably be there today of our entire population. So we've actually got much better penetration for the first dose of our vaccinations, and our second dose, people who've completed the course, is coming up soon behind it. The other thing to notice is that we have a really effective vaccine. The Pfizer vaccine is about 95% effective, and I noted that I think in the Seychelles they have not been using the same vaccines that we have been using here. So we're very lucky to have that vaccine because that will give us an extra level of safety. But we still need to get more people vaccinated because we can see how it can still break out even if you have what was thought to be a fairly good level of vaccination. But for various reasons, I don't think it will be as strong as ours when our program has been finished.
Excellent. And of course, this morning I expressed opinion about work permit holders in the Cayman Islands, and I know we haven't gone to that route yet. But my position on it is that a person who's here on a work permit, they're here at the pleasure of the government of the Cayman Islands. It's a discretionary act in terms of the issue of a work permit, and I believe that those persons have an extra obligation to ensure that they are properly vaccinated. They're required to have health insurance policies, and we know that the government has not taken that step forward yet in terms of requiring work permit holders to be vaccinated. But if we were to reach that point, are you keeping figures in relation to the demographics of who are getting the vaccine, work permit holders as opposed to permanent residents or Caymanians? Are we keeping those type of statistics?
I think if I could pull that discussion apart a little bit and say that we are always looking at the people most at risk. Mm-hmm. So the people most at risk are the people working in tourism, in hospitality, around the airports and ports, around healthcare, in nursing homes, in prisons. Those are the categories of place where we really don't want to have any outbreaks, because those are there are a lot more travelers, and or people are unable to distance. They're required to be in a certain fairly tight space. Mm-hmm. That's quite different, really, from somebody working in an office block where they go to the office, they don't necessarily mix with that many people, and they go straight home again. Schools, again, and is another place of concern. So you'll see that certainly in the region and around the world, the different governments are putting constraints on certain types of work that people do, and that's where they're paying their attention. And certainly, of course, Cayman Islands government has been considering what they are doing now and what they might do in the middle term in order to try to increase the coverage. I think that, for many of the workers in some of those industries that I've mentioned, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but we know that our current complement of those staff is relatively low because we have been shut down. All of the hotels are not busy. A lot of the tourism facilities are not running. So we have the opportunity to say that anybody new coming into the island would need to be vaccinated, and as a requirement on their contract. That's certainly one thing that we can consider, because we are not running at full steam. Perhaps in some industries it's only, 1/3 the complement of usual, or 1/2. You can imagine that if we vaccinate all of those that are incoming, suddenly our numbers will boost incredibly as a percentage, because I know the figures, the CETA, the Cayman Islands Tourism Association, are working really hard to push vaccinations. They're currently at 70% across the board. So, they have been working well. Yes. If you can imagine, they're going to double their numbers at least, and you add people who are 100% vaccinated, you can see that we're going to get up to 85% vaccinated just in that group. So we might not necessarily need to be, we need to find a solution that's right for Cayman.
Yes. Okay. Several persons who are abroad, they're curious to know when will the restrictions be changed for Caymanians having to get a PCR test to be able to board an aircraft to come home if they have been vaccinated?
Yep. Sorry, I don't really have an. I understand from Minister Turner's announcement of it last week. It's going through the process. I'm not sure when it'll finish the legislative drafting process and be announced, but I mean, we're expecting it should be fairly soon. I can't give you a date. I just don't have it, I'm afraid.
And for the benefit of those persons who may not be familiar with the process now, I know on Friday we did have a caller who called in and said that they were in Florida and having to travel back to the Cayman Islands. They had to have the PCR, even though one person had only one dose, the other individual had both doses. They had to get a PCR test in Florida, and they said that was pretty smooth. The taxi driver who was taking them there was quite familiar, had taken several persons from the Cayman Islands there. But can you explain the process when a person is coming back? The PCR test before they board the plane. We know what the process is on the plane in terms of persons being masked and everything. Is another PCR test required taken when they arrive in Grand Cayman, or is that done a few days afterwards?
Yeah, so everybody coming back to Cayman since October last year will get a PCR test at the airport on arrival. So before they've left the airport, the secure area, and then they return to their residence, and they'll be advised of their test result with through the patient portal by email, and then they get it again just before they are released from quarantine, whether it be at 10 days if they're fully vaccinated or at 15. Obviously, to be fully vaccinated, you must have had the vaccinations appropriate for that course. Of course, the only one that's a single dose is the Janssen, made by Johnson & Johnson. All the others are 2 doses, and it's only the ones that have been approved by myself, Chief Medical Officer, and then there must have been a 2-week gap for allow that vaccine to take its effect before that's considered to be fully vaccinated.
Now, there are some of those persons who are overseas feel that it may be overkill to have a PCR test before, and then you're only on a flight to the Cayman Islands, and then to have another one again. Can you explain the need for both so close together?
All of them are essentially because the more PCR tests you do, the more likely you are to pick something up. And we have regularly picked up people, for example, who have had a test, negative test, the 72-hour negative test, and then they have a positive one on arrival. And again, they have a negative test before departure, a negative test on arrival, then they're positive at day on their exit from quarantine. So we pick these up all of the time, which is demonstrating why we want to do it. I think there are reasons we want to keep a careful eye on people who may develop sickness. So we want to pay attention to anybody who might be positive. And also, if they're traveling in a group, you want to know who's positive in the group in order that you can do some personal distancing, pay particular attention when you're in a house with somebody positive to protect everybody else in that traveling group.
Okay, by playing the devil's advocate, so what does that PCR test prior to getting on the aircraft, what does that do for you, or that the second dose, the second test does?
If you're positive, you will be denied boarding, so you'll have protected the whole plane.
Got it.
because we know that that COVID is transmitted in airplanes. So.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break, and Dr. Lee, I'm going to let you go after the next commercial break because we do have a few callers on hold. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes. Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
Hi, I am remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me Dr. John Lee, our Chief Medical Officer, for a short period of time. It wasn't planned, but COVID-19 has been so successful in the Cayman Islands that Dr. Lee's schedule is a little bit more flexible now. So we do have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Dorsey, I'm just going to pass on some questions that were asked of me, and I said I would pass it on to you.
Okay, sir.
This one comes from a lady. She said, I know you follow what's happening here with COVID, and we're all interested. I was told by a friend that why some of the people are not coming forward for the test is because of religious, whatever. The religion they belong to don't believe in that, or the pastor tells them, you don't have to go. The next call was from a man who said he understood that a lot of employers were telling the employees, well, you don't really have to go. So I thought I would pass that on to you, and if you think it needs investigation, well, thank you very much for the information you sent to us out here in Radio Land.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for that. One more caller, and then we're going to go back to Dr. John Lee. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. We can hear some talk in the background. We can hear the radio. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Wrong was speaking.
Yes.
Apparently, obviously came out be blessed when the quantity is limited, right? But to the scientist or doctor or whoever he is, right? Also henceforth down the pipeline, the vaccination will be more modified, right? Obviously, right? And always said the border open up. Right? I'm talking from a tourism aspect point of view. The border need to open up, Okay? We can't be isolated. You got to desolate the place.
So when should we open it up?
We should. Listen, all I said, the vaccine, the numbers, numerous, should be up. And I take the vaccine yet, no. And I take it yet.
Yeah.
And I hesitate or reluctant.
What are you waiting for?
And I'm waiting. He's still ways. You understand? But listen, the point I make now, despite the age or demographic, the board will open up, take the vaccine. You understand?
Okay. You still haven't told me when you're going to take it.
Miss OC, give me 1 minute now. Right? Give me 1 minute now. I hesitate the vaccine. I take it when I travel. Yeah, I feel that. One more thing, Miss OC. The tourists, right? Tourism. You know, that top pillar in the industry. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the retired, all the students, they have to came on. It's about the herbs aspect now, herbs. You know, people frustrated with this pandemic, this plague crisis, we won't call it. So more like that, the herb norm, the nada. You know, even Friday morning, it like the end of the world. People are calling, it like the end of the world. For a simple topic of the herb. You understand?
Yeah.
And buy and drink.
Let's go back to the vaccine, though. You say you're gonna take it when you travel. Suppose it's not available when you decide that you want to travel. Suppose it's not available to you. Then what happens?
Well, I not be sitting up. You understand? I not be a target. You understand? But the point I made now, like earlier OC, like I say, always down the pipeline, the vaccine, the innovation of it, it'll be more modified. No should go.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller. Last caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Hi there. Good morning. I believe that I am on.
Yes, you are.
Hi there. Good morning. I have a question for Dr. Lee, if I may.
Sure.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Lee. Huge fan of yours. Truly appreciate everything that you have done. I do have a question, though. Like, we are treating this illness like we don't have an immune system, and we do have an immune system. And sometimes, actually, it's quite good, and it can overcome all the obstacles. And one thing that I haven't seen on TV is, like, why aren't we being encouraged to take care of our health? Like, you know, sleep more, drink less, smoke less, eat better, and aren't we seeing that?
Okay.
I think that that's a question of a long-standing goal of public health to attend to everybody's health. We have actually, even during COVID, I think around 3 months ago, we launched our MOVE campaign. You'll have seen some of the electronic billboards showing us encouragements to get out and move, because moving is one of the most important things you can do to look after your health. Even if you are a little bit heavy, we know that moving will get your heart and your cardiovascular system fit beyond anything else, and will stand you in good stead, will help to stave away diabetes, certain cancers, heart disease, and so on. But you are quite right. But the impediment has really been to stop people getting infected and to make sure we don't get serious illness and deaths from COVID. But the long term, the goal of public health always is to try to attend to what we call the non-communicable diseases, which is essentially keeping your body fit and healthy, as well as the communicable diseases like COVID disease, and a lot of public health agendas have been hugely interrupted by COVID, because there is a limit to how much we can tackle, and this has been a huge task, the COVID task, to get people tested first of all, keep people safe, and then to get people vaccinated.
Okay, thank you very much, caller, for that. On the other questions that we had, one observation another caller had about the religious reasons, but more so the employers and whether or not they should be encouraging. And one of our listeners last week had actually suggested that maybe some conversation should take place with the Cayman Islands Human Resources society, with the management and the membership of that society, to see what they can do in terms of encouraging employers to get more involved in the vaccination process as well.
I think what I took away from the callers and perhaps some of the other messages that have been coming in is the variety of opinions that are coming forward about vaccination. And when I hear a lot of different opinions, and some which I feel I would encourage less, and some I feel we should encourage more, I feel that my job is to provide as much information as we can so that people can make their own decisions. But, when you make your own decisions, all of us look to a whole variety of sources. Some people don't like to be told from, the government doctor what to be doing. Some people prefer to find out from their friends and their relatives. Some people will read the newspapers and make reasoned decisions based on what they can see going on around the world. And so I would encourage whatever source of information you like, please take it. Certainly, I have given a number of different talks to CUC, got one planned for another company, a lot of different the whole civil service, and then again, subsections of the civil service we've been talking to. So members of public health are able to come and help either smaller groups or large groups to try and give them information so that they can make reasoned decisions. But very often it ends up being the individual to think about what's going on around them and to make their own decision based on the people that they trust and that the information they receive, that they feel that is reliable. And we've all seen the devastation that's happening in India and South America, and their desperation to get the vaccines in order to look after their health.
Yes, certainly. Well, I watched Saturday Night Live on Saturday night, and Colin Jost on there basically said for those evangelicals, they know that all people, especially evangelicals, want to get to heaven, but it isn't a race to get there. There's no race to get there. So I thought that was funny. Okay, before we let you go, Dr. Lee, any final closing comments?
Well, just let's keep up the momentum, Cayman. We are going to open our borders. They will open, so do come forward. Take the protection. It works incredibly well. We've seen how well it works. Not only that, but it's incredibly safe. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of people have had the vaccines, and they are protecting people from serious illness and death. So please come forward. Yes, there will likely be boosters, and yes, the boosters may have some variant, treatment of the variants that's coming along, but we need to get the borders open, if people, as callers have said today, and we will do that when we have enough people vaccinated that we feel it's safe to do so.
Okay, again, Dr. Lee, thank you very much. Thanks for the sterling job that you and your team, have been doing to keep the Cayman Islands safe. And so far, everything that you've done has proven right. We have not had any hitches. We have not had to reverse anything, any actions that were taken, because they were taken in a timely and a considered manner as well. Folks, please stay tuned. When we return at 9 o'clock, we're going to have representatives from the Department of Children and Family Services, and we'll be talking about adoptions in the Cayman Islands today as well. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly. All right, Dr.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamp Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
Visit Healthcare Pharmacy's second location in Governor Square, servicing West Bay and the 7 Mile Beach Corridor with the care and professionalism you have come to expect from Healthcare Pharmacy. Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square also stocks a huge selection of Hallmark and shoebox greeting cards, vitamins, sunblock, last minute and everyday needs. To refill and transfer your prescriptions, simply WhatsApp 329-7313 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or drop by Monday to Saturday from 9 till 6.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We will have guests in the studio when after our next break that we will take. One of our listeners has shared with us in response to the explanation about the PCR test that needs to be taken and the results showing that the traveler is not infected with the coronavirus. They said that it's easy in Miami to get the PCR tests, but if persons are in other states, it may not be as easy. We heard, for instance, Mr. McLean explained to us that in Miami, I believe the PCR test was like $100. There are some states that where the PCR test costs $250, especially if they don't accept our local insurance that is issued here. And people are still questioning why take the vaccine if you have to go through the same rigorous screening as a person who is not vaccinated. And of course, I'm not the medical expert, but the explanation that we're hearing with that is not only does the vaccine help you later on when it comes to traveling, but it also reduces the severity of COVID-19 if one should contract COVID-19. If you're vaccinated, then you're much more protected. So the vaccination is not just simply for traveling purposes, but it is also to give you overall protection as well. But yes, if you're in Florida, it may be easier, for you. But if you're in other states within the U.S., it may be more difficult. It may be more expensive to get that PCR test as well. And as far as the PCR test before you get on the aircraft, as well as when you get off the aircraft, Dr. Lee has pointed out that if you do not have a negative PCR test, you won't be able to board an aircraft to come to the Cayman Islands. So that is why that part of it is necessary. So the vaccine, yes, while it protects you in terms of the severity of COVID-19, if you were to contract it, it doesn't prevent you from necessarily contracting it, but it helps to protect you as well as protecting those around you. Top of the hour, headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, we will be talking with representatives from the Department of Children and Family Services, so please stay tuned.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 407 COVID-19 tests on Friday. All came back negative. So far, more than 70,000 COVID-19 vaccines have been administered locally to date. The U.S. government issued emergency legislation Sunday after the largest fuel pipeline in the U.S. was hit by a ransomware cyber attack. The Colonial Pipeline carries 2.5 million barrels a day, 45% of the East Coast supply of diesel, petrol, and jet fuel. The operator took itself offline on Friday after the cyber attack, and work to restore service is continuing. There have been clashes between Palestinian and Israeli police outside the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem ahead of a planned Jewish nationalist march. More than 300 people were injured as crowds threw stones and officers fired stun grenades and rubber bullets. It comes amid soaring tensions in the city, which has seen weeks of unrest. Earlier, Israeli police decided to bar Jews from visiting the compound where the mosque is located during the annual Jerusalem Day flag march. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman maintaining the innovation.
Getting vaccinated is an important part of keeping our islands protected against COVID-19. All persons who are scheduled to be vaccinated must present a photo ID which shows you are legally and ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands or have permission to stay for 6 months or more. Accepted IDs include a Cayman Islands driver's license, passport or voter's card, a global citizen's certificate, a work permit grant letter, extension letter or job letter from a local company, or a non-Caymanian passport which shows the holder has been landed with permission to be on island for 6 months or more. Essential workers must also present their work ID to show proof of employer. Anyone who has already received a first dose may still receive the second must show their vaccination card. For more information on the vaccine program, visit www.hsa.ky.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. As you know, the month of May is celebrated as Child Month, and the Department of Children and Family Services have been involved quite involved in Child Month activities here in the Cayman Islands. So we're going to be talking about adoption and foster care in the Cayman Islands. That conversation is going to take place with the acting manager of the Unit for Adoption and Foster Care, Ms. Lois Webb. And also with us, we have Mr. Dermot
McIlerney,
okay, who is a social worker with the Department of Children and Family Services. Folks, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about Child Month in general, and then adoption and foster care in the Cayman Islands.
Thank you. Good morning. This month we celebrate the month of the child, which is Child Month, and the theme for the month is the Cape.
Yes.
A lot of us have, as growing up as children, we always know a Cape to have superpowers. At the end of the day, the Cape represents a lot of things for a lot of different children, in a positive way. And this month we have some activities going on throughout the month, and I'll let Dermot tell you about some of them.
All right, so it's quite a full week this week. So today we've got obviously ourselves and the Elderly Services team coming here to Radio Cayman to talk a bit about what we do. And in Little Cayman today we've got the Celebrity Reading Day. On Wednesday there's the Junior Panel, which I believe is here at Radio Cayman as well. On Friday there's the Youth Game Night in West Bay, and the Taya Lounge Welcome with Waffles. On Saturday we've got the Team Wipeout Challenge in Cayman Brack, which should be good fun. The Family Fun Day at the Cayman Turtle Centre, which also should be good. And the Conference of Seventh-day Adventists Children's Convention at the Lions Centre. We also have the DCFS information session at Foster's Food Fair, and the Authors Club at the Georgetown Public Library on Saturday as well.
Okay.
So quite a lot of events this week.
Yep, and we know that the kickoff to Child Month, the church service at the Red Bay Church, that was extremely successful, well attended. What are we seeing so far with all of the other events that are taking place? We know that some are by invitation only, while others are open to everyone.
So far, the ones that we have had, there is a great turnout. On Friday night, we had a games night at Elmsmead Church. Mm-hmm. It was well attended, lots of fun. The kids really enjoyed it. I think the adults enjoyed it a lot too. So, I mean, some of the games, like musical chairs, they had a Bible verse competition. Very active participants they were, I have to say. Yeah, nice group of kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was good fun. I went to that one as well on Friday night, so I think everyone had a really good evening, and it was well attended.
Okay, I want to switch gears and go to adoptions. Before you start to talk about your program and everything, I'm curious to know whether or not we face unique challenges here in the Cayman Islands when it comes to foster care and adoption because of our size, the small size of our population, and where everyone almost knows everyone else, and whether or not that poses any particular challenge when it comes to adoption here in the Cayman Islands as well. If you could focus on that at some point in time during your discussion.
Yeah, sure. Well, right now the focus is foster care, foster care recruitment. While it may be challenging in the fact that we don't have very many foster parents, but mind you, nonetheless, the ones that we do have, they're great parents. I think because it is a small island, the need for foster parents is nonetheless still needed. We do have children who come into care on, I would have to say, at least 2 to 3 times a month, right? And from lack of whatever their current situation is at home, they need that nurturing environment to be taken care of until whatever issues are going on at home, what crisis may be happening, can be alleviated for them to return home. Foster parents play a vital role in our society. Some people think that, somebody else can do it, but at the end of the day, that somebody else turns into somebody else, and sometimes there's no one at the end of that, right? So the foster parents that we do have, they are great advocates for what they do. Yes, they have challenges, but the rewards far outweigh what the challenges are.
Okay, and for those persons who are interested in being a foster parent, what do you look for? How can they go about doing that? What's the length of the period of time, or can foster parenting eventually lead on to something more permanent as well?
Yeah, the type of foster parents that we're looking for now, it's a range in different qualities. As far as so long as they're a good and positive role model to the children that come into their care, they can, to have tolerance, to be flexible, to have some of those qualities that any parent would have if you're a parent, to have the time to basically commit to nurturing a child is what we're looking for. There's certain criteria that everyone thinks, I have to be Caymanian. No, you just have to have a home. You can be a work permit holder. The age is between 25 and 60. You can be single, you can be married, any of those. You can have children, you don't have to have children. Everyone thinks that because they aren't a parent, they cannot foster, but that is not so. Because at the end of the day, you do get a lot of support from the social workers as well as other professional entities that are also involved with the child. Yeah. When children go into care, the hope is for unification with the parents or the caregiver. Sometimes that's not always the case. And in those cases is when we hope to look for what we call foster to adopt, because we do have some foster parents who are foster to adopt, meaning that if they get a child, at some point in time, they would be looking to adopt that child, depending on how involved the parents are.
Okay. And anything you want to add to that, Dermot?
Yeah, I guess, all the children would come into care with a plan, and like Lois said, we'd always try and aim for reunification with the family. And if that's not possible, then look for a more permanent solution to their situation, which hopefully would be adoption, if they're not able to go back home. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. We know, and you've mentioned it before, that there are challenges, and there will be challenges on both sides of the equation. Those children who are being fostered, as well as the challenges that the foster parent or parents may encounter as well. Can we speak a little bit about some of those challenges?
One of the main challenges that foster parents face may be some behavior issues. Mild to moderate. I would like to believe that because most children are coming from a traumatic situation, that some behaviors will develop. It depends on the child too. Some children may become withdrawn, while others express themselves physically, emotionally. Foster parents, in this sense, they have patience. They have the patience to endure whatever the behaviors are. And the thing is, as one foster parent mentioned, the challenges far outweigh the wins that you get at the end of the day with that. They would have to say that in those challenging moments, it helps them to develop their skills and to become a better parent as well. So in those instances, there is help that we offer and support for foster parents who go through challenging times with the child, because most of them, they know that the children are coming from a traumatic situation and they don't want to say, I can't handle it. So then thereby they will then say, I'm going to stick this out. I want to see it to the end. And they will thereby get assistance from either social worker or a professional, whether it be via way of counseling, Yeah,
Mhm,
or they may see a therapist to just help the child, and then the child then will be able better to communicate with the foster parent. And in some instances, foster parent and child may get counseling just to help, calm the situation, depending on what it is.
And do you find that those parents or parent who have fostered before and have had a successful and rewarding experience from it, do you find that they are more likely to want to continue to participate in your foster care program?
Oh, yes. We have several parents who, despite the challenges, they say, no, we're not giving up. They still want to have children come into home because they feel that they can make a difference in a positive manner. And some of the children that have left do come back and see those foster parents. Some of them don't want to leave, but yeah. But it is a good thing to see when you can see the rewards. Once you've had a child in your home and you raise them, to be better than their potential, basically. So then you can see the transgression from where they were to where they're at.
And you did mention the fact that some of them don't want to leave. What happens in a situation like that if a child who has been placed in foster care find a comfortable, inviting environment for them that they feel much more comfortable in? And we know at the end of the day that our legal system will look at what is in the best interest of the child. Is there any flexibility when it comes to foster parenting for that child's viewpoint and their desires to be taken into consideration, and to look at transitioning into a more permanent situation with that foster care?
Well, all that depends on what's going on with the parents, right? Because like I said, the ultimate goal is reunification. In some instances, the child cannot return home.
Yes.
And in those instances, the foster parent may then say, you know what, I think maybe I want to adopt this child, right? So in the long term, the child always has a say in what happens to them, right? And in instances where the child cannot return home, of course, they'll stay in foster care until they turn 18, right? At that point in time, they transition into something else. And during that time as well, the foster parent and them have formed a bond. So then it may be that they say, okay, you know what? You can stay here because we're trying to work it into, say, having permanency for them at some point with stability.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will continue our conversation about foster care in the Cayman Islands. That conversation is taking place with Miss Lois Webb, who's acting manager for adoptions and foster care with the Department of Children and Family Services, and social worker Mr. Dermot McLeany. I think I almost got that right. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes! Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
Honey,
Our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
It's time for Sports Day. Join me, Rashana Hydes, contestant number 5 in the Miss World Cayman Islands pageant for Sports Day, Sunday, May 16th at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex at 3 p.m. My team, the Firebirds, and I will be competing for the best in tug of war, sprinting, relays, and more. You won't want to miss me, Rashana Hydes, and the Firebirds at the Miss World Sports Day. Admission is free.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As you know, we're celebrating Child Month. The month of May is internationally recognized as Child Month, and we celebrate it here in the Cayman Islands. Many various things have been going on through the course of the week and will continue throughout the month of May. This morning, we're discussing an extremely important function, and that has to do with foster care in the Cayman Islands. As much as we may want to think that we live in an almost perfect society here in the Cayman Islands, an almost perfect environment, as much as we would like to think that, that is not the case. We all go through challenges. Some go through more extreme challenges than others, and that is why we have various entities established in the Cayman Islands to help us, to assist us with those challenges. We have many functional families. We have some that are dysfunctional as well, and when they are dysfunctional, that is when you find that more help is needed as well. You've heard my two guests talk about foster care in the Cayman Islands, and we're going to go back over what is foster care, who can become a foster parent, then what are some of the challenges, and what had been mentioned earlier as well is because there are challenges on both sides, the Department of Children and Family Services and the unit that has been established to address issues of foster parenting, what they can do and what they will do to assist with those challenges, whether you're a fostering family or you're a family where a child is being removed and placed into foster care as well. Back to you folks. Dermot, you want to take the mic?
Yeah, so I guess we'll look at, so what is foster care?
Yes.
Foster care is a safe and nurturing environment to temporarily place a child that cannot live with their family, mainly because their family may be going through a crisis or their environment is unsafe, or for something more serious such as child abuse or neglect. So our department would carry out an assessment on that family situation and decide, this isn't a safe place for this child to be. So we look to place them somewhere temporarily while we work with the parents and try and address those issues so that the child can go back home again.
Mm-hmm. Does that require, that decision to place them there, does that require any court intervention, legal intervention?
Ideally, we would like to, what we like to do is work in partnership with parents and avoid any court processes. So we're trying to be working with the parent, open and transparent about what our concerns are, and having plans in place for them to work towards to try and obviously get this child back home. Sometimes that doesn't work. And these can be quite challenging and difficult situations when you're going to take a child from a family home. And we talked about trauma earlier. That's a traumatic event, obviously, for a family to go through. So sometimes, it's not as easy as you would like it to be. And in those kind of situations, we potentially could go to court and seek some orders for those children. It all depends on the family situation and that moment in time. But ideally, we tend to try and avoid court processes and have them placed voluntarily, hopefully with a family member where possible. And sometimes that's not possible either, so then we would look towards our fostering department, or foster carers.
Yeah, because we always seek to try to place a child with what's familiar to them. And in some instances, even if it's a close family friend, we go out and we assess the place and the person to make sure that it is, viable for the child to be there. We always try to look for family members, especially to place children with, instead of I hate to say traumatizing them again and putting them with people they don't know. So in those instances, we do try to work with family members or parents to say, do you know of anyone who would be willing to, take your child even temporarily until you can sort yourself out.
Okay. Now, when a situation arises, how quickly can you actually get into action and have that child placed in foster care?
I think that we've got a unit called the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub. So normally the way that operates is that that department, the MASH desk, would receive a referral and do an assessment on the situation, and that would be followed up by a social worker and potentially a police officer if there was a criminal element involved in it. So they're quite rapid response, and they can go and assess that situation immediately. And if needs be, they can remove the child through various different kinds of orders. So the police can remove the child under their police protection order, or the department can seek an EPO, an emergency protection order, to remove that child from and put it in a place of safety. They're very they're remedies to be used for critical situations where there's immediate danger for that child. So it can be quite rapid. It can be quite a quick event, but preferably we prefer to do things planned so that parents and children know what's happening, to try and take the edge off that trauma and make it as supportive as possible for everybody involved.
Okay. Do you have like a standing list of potential foster care or possible foster care parents who have been interviewed in advance, and you know what their credentials are, you know what their family history is like, so that you can basically call on them immediately? Or
yes, we do. We have a list of foster parents now. As I said before, they are great people. Each of them bring to the table their own dynamics as to raising children. But one thing they all have in common is, they have an open heart, and they really, really care for children. Some have their own children, some don't have children. In any instance, they are very willing and open to always be there and try to do what's best. Whenever we call, they are always answering. They'll always answer. Yeah. We always look to place children that we know will fit best with each foster parent. While some parents have some strengths, some have other strengths. So whatever the issues a child may have is what we look to place them with the proper foster parent. That's why I said right now we are seeking more foster parents. If anyone's interested, they can, please call the department and, just say, I'm interested in fostering. We are very willing and open to work with you. I don't believe that no one person cannot, help a child. Yeah. So we look forward to, hearing from the wider audience to, for them to come and volunteer and help foster children.
Okay. And in the interest of transparency, the vetting process for potential foster parents, what does it involve?
The vetting process for foster parents, once you express an interest, you then come in and we schedule an appointment for you to sit down and talk with one of the workers on the team. And once there, we then will go out and do a home study or home assessment. And once that's completed, you get your home safety checks, your fire checks, to make sure that your place is safe and suitable to have children for any age, because we foster from 0 to 17. All right. Once that's done, we then review your application and your home study, and it takes approximately maybe 2 to 3 months.
Background checks done as well.
We do all those things, and a medical as well, to make sure that you're fit and healthy. Like I said before, fostering could be anywhere from 25 to 60. If you have any health issues, as long as they're manageable and you can manage it, then that's fine too.
Yeah, I think all those measures are in place, obviously, to make sure that the placement and the people are safe places for us to place the children with. So that's standard anywhere you go, so there is that process. But we support the foster carers throughout it to make sure that it's done in a timely manner.
So we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we want to talk about that support, the support that you offer as well, so that if there are potential foster care parents out there, and if they have any doubts, can I do this alone? So that they can understand you're not in this alone, that you will have that support from the Department of Children and Family Services, and in particular the foster care unit, to help you through the process as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamt Motors on Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to Macgrass Grocery Store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Fellow Caymanians and residents, my Progressives and Alliance colleagues encourage everyone on our islands who have not been vaccinated to get the vaccine as soon as possible. It is really important to protect the health and well-being of all of us, including our loved ones. In addition, it will also ensure that we can safely reopen our borders in the months to come. Folks, we cannot stay in a bubble forever. So again, I plead with you, please go and get vaccinated.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're familiar with the cliche that our children They are our most important asset. The fact that they're the future of any country. Children are the future of any country as well. We need to encourage them. We need to nurture them. We need to protect them as well. One way of doing that is really by becoming a foster parent. So if you're out there and if you have an interest in registering as a foster parent and potentially being there when the call is made, we certainly would be interested in hearing from you, and we will be providing you with the contact details in terms of Children and Family Services and how you can express your interest in becoming a foster parent. Meanwhile, we do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. I want to put your headphones on. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connell.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay, and good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Yeah, when it comes to foster care, are same-sex couples able to adopt children?
Okay. Basically, the requirements, so I say that you need to be single, you can be either single or married, male or female as well, and until such time as the courts, there's a final decision from the courts in relation to the definition of marriage in the Cayman Islands and what our Constitution says and the constitutional determination of that. The Department of Children and Family Services, I believe, are still operating on the basis that marriage is between one man and one woman until that changes. But meanwhile, their emphasis is more on single, if you're single, or if you're married. And like we said, until other marriages are recognized in the Cayman Islands, marriage now is between one man and one woman. And you can be male or you can be female as well. So the same questions that may arise now in relation to same-sex marriages at some point in time, I'm sure the issue will come up as for persons who are transgender as well. But we haven't reached that stage yet, have we?
Not at the moment. And as you said, it's in the court. So until something has been determined and a process to follow through with that has been established, for now, anyone in regards to fostering, anyone can apply. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Caller, you still there?
Yes, I would just like to say that, Mr. O'Connor, to your guests, that if they have anything to do with putting a stop to same-sex couples adopting children, they should do so.
Okay, well, of course. Go ahead, sorry.
For example, yesterday was Mother's Day.
Uh-huh.
Two males are married, okay? Two males are married. Yesterday, if a child was adopted by two males, yesterday, who would those children say Happy Mother's Day to if they're being adopted by same-sex couples such as two males? And for those types of things to occur, it's putting a child into some serious confusion. So if your panel has anything to do with stopping same-sex couples from adopting children, they should do so. And by them doing so, they're doing the right thing. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller, for that. I know both of you can speak for yourselves, but you're not policymakers. You're there to implement policy. So whatever the powers that be decide in relation to foster care or be it adoptions or whatever, you're basically there to implement the decisions that are made by
Exactly.
the.
And whatever will be done is always in the best interest of the child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Did we take that commercial break, Paul? We took a commercial break, right? Yeah. So let's again talk about the support available to those persons who decide that they want to foster parent.
All right. So, I mean, I think we talked about before that, taking a child into foster care can be quite a challenging time for foster parents. So it's important for anyone considering to be a foster parent to know that they will be fully supported, and we work as part of a bigger team to make sure that both the parent and the child is supported in that placement. Foster care here in the Cayman Islands is voluntary, so it's not something that you get a salary for. But the department does offer financial benefits for the child. So that would look like school lunches, school uniforms, health insurance and clothing. An additional stipend would be given to the foster parent to assist with the day-to-day care of the child depending on their age and also their needs as well. They also receive, like I said, so it's kind of a multidisciplinary approach. So they'll have ongoing social work support, as well as training sessions that we're developing at the minute to help them, develop their skills as a parent. And for example, if a child is presenting with a very specific need, to access training, for those parents, to help them learn about that and how to work with that child. So there's other things as well that they might benefit from, such as, like we talked about, legal orders. So we're doing training around that so that they understand what it means to have, a child on a care order in their care, and behavioural issues or mental health issues, any of those kind of issues that, a child or young person that they receive might be presenting with. But it is important to know, for them to know that, there is support, and we all do work as a big team and work together to try and make sure that the placement is a success. Mainly for the child, like Lois says, but also for the foster parents for themselves as well.
Okay, we do have another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
While some people who work in various government departments or wherever are not lawyers, as far as I am aware, when certain laws are being made that has to do with their department and the work that they do, they do, at least they used to, I don't know whether that's been changed to, whether that's changed human rights or not, or human wrongs, I call them most of it. They have the authority to give input when they're doing new laws, revised laws, regulations, amendment to regulations or amendment to laws or whatever. So in that particular case, even though this particular department is not, these people may not be lawyers, they should have the right and the authority to give their input to say, well, I don't think this should be done. If you have two parents who are the same sex, two male or two female, like he said, which one do you call, say, Happy Mother's Day to? Which one do you say Happy Father's Day? It's pure confusion to these poor children, and it's ridiculous. That's not human rights, in my opinion.
But you do realize that if it becomes law, then they are bound to uphold the law.
Yeah, well, we need to fight against it. We need to protest it. That's what we need to do. We need to stand up for our rights, our real rights, not these stupid rights that Anna, Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to make now to prove themselves. That's my 2 pennies.
Thank you very much for that. And the caller is quite right that any responsible government will certainly, when enacting legislation, will consult with those persons who are directly involved in the process. So when it comes to foster care, if there is legislation that's being considered, that they would talk to the persons who have expertise in the area of foster care. The powers that be may choose to listen and to follow whatever recommendations that are made, or they may choose to do otherwise. That is left up to them. But yes, we have to admit that there's some element of consultation usually takes place, and should, if it doesn't, should take place as well. But okay, before we go to our next commercial break, and I know you folks were only thought you would be on for half an hour, but you're probably going to be on here for at least another 10 minutes or so. Again, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to see how we can pique persons or listeners' interest in becoming foster parents. What a positive role that can be. And maybe we can start from the fact that in the 60s, we had one probation officer in the Cayman Islands, a lady by the name of Miss Joyce Hilton. And in those days, our young children, you know, when they when they committed an offense that put them in a juvenile home or something of that nature, they were sent overseas. There were no provisions in the Cayman Islands for them to be housed here, so they were sent overseas. That has changed considerably. The dynamics in the Cayman Islands have changed considerably, as well. Those days also, what we found was that some foreigners who came here and met families, whether it may have been a family working in the tourism industry, and they met their children through the family members and decided, well, here's a good opportunity for me to allow this child to get a good education, take them off to Canada or to the United States. In those days, the majority of our tourists came from Canada, actually. And it was a very, very informal process. How have the dynamics in the Cayman Islands changed now, where we really, really need more people to step up to the plate and get involved in terms of foster care?
Yeah. I think, like you mentioned before, informal fostering, people probably didn't know they were fostering. It was very informal.
Yes.
And as of today, you know, with the law, with different laws and children's law and all these other, you know, legal aspects of it coming in, they're more formal now. I guess before, if a child had to be removed, they went to a family or a friend, relative, you know. But now it's more of a streamlined event where a child is removed. It has to come to the courts because parents still have rights. And back then, I'm not sure exactly if, I guess permission was given. Some sort of permission was given for people to take their children and, you know, take them to go to school and all these other places. As it stands now, it does go to the court in some instances if it's not voluntarily permission given by the parents to remove their child. Right now, yes, the court system plays a vital role in children when they're being removed. There's a process, and the process, like Dermot mentioned, is supposed to help with the ease of transition for the child, as well as the parents in some cases.
Okay. You mentioned children's law as well. How important that has been in the development of the Cayman Islands in terms of us developing a children's law. You know, you heard Ms. Webb. Ms. Webb did, you know, talk about the informality, of things. How does the development of the children's law help you as well in your work?
I mean, I think the development of the children's law is primarily to ensure the safety of the children who live here in the Cayman Islands. So while back in the day, you know, it was quite informal, you know, it also leaves open a lot of opportunity for abuse and stuff like that to happen. So the children's law for us provides a framework that we can protectively place these children and guide us in ensuring, you know, that their safety is paramount more than anything, and that obviously the government here is doing everything that they can do to ensure that they've got the right to a family life and safety and protection that any child anywhere should be.
Because those are constitutional protections that they now have, yeah.
Exactly. So, and I mean, it's something that will keep developing, you know, as time goes on. Things change, like you say. So all these things become, you know, they are reviewed periodically to ensure that they're continuing to do the job that they're there to do.
Okay, we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, we're going to continue. We're going to make that call for persons to become foster parents, tell them how they can go about that, give them whatever phone numbers, email addresses that they may want to contact any individual that they may want to contact as well, or if they're just curious about it and want additional information, how they can go about getting that information. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know the third most important factor for customer retention is cleanliness? With 95% of shoppers saying exterior appliance influences where they decide to shop. Keep your business clean with Roper's Janitorial. From offices to restaurants, interior and exterior, walls to rugs and flooring. Roper's cleans it all, including 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511, or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Dress your business for success with Roper's Janitorial. We make your business shine. 949-2511. Roper's, providing products and services for better public health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Visit Healthcare Pharmacy's second location in Governor Square, servicing West Bay and the 7 Mile Beach Corridor with the care and professionalism you have come to expect from Healthcare Pharmacy. Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square also stocks a huge selection of Hallmark and shoebox greeting cards, vitamins, sunblock, last-minute and everyday needs. To refill and transfer your prescriptions, simply WhatsApp 329-7313 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or drop by Monday to Saturday from 9 till 6.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show this morning. We're talking about foster care in the Cayman Islands. That conversation is taking place with Ms. Lois Webb, who's the acting manager of the Adoptions and Foster Care Unit at the Department of Children and Family Services, and Mr. Dermot McLeany. Got it wrong, but still, I'm trying. Who's a social worker at the department. One of our listeners has written in and said, "Morning OC, it sure has changed considerably, and Ms. Joyce Hilton cannot be replaced as a children services officer." No, she can't be replaced, but you can be like Ms. Joyce Hilton if you want, or similar to her, and show that we all care by volunteering to be a foster parent. So we can all do our part, and we should all endeavor to do our part when it comes to assisting the most vulnerable in our society, our children. They're the ones we say that they're our future, but if we do not nurture them and care for them, they won't be there to be the future of our country. We do have one final caller for the morning. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning.
And panel, OC, I absolutely love your show. I listen to it every chance I can get.
Thank you. Thank you.
This topic is very close to me, and I think that you'll appreciate why, the panel will appreciate why, because I was adopted.
Wow.
And regarding the last caller that spoke about not having same-sex adopt, OC and the panel, I just want to say that I'm so grateful that I am Caymanian, and as I appreciate everybody's views, I would like to just say that I am grateful for the fact that I was adopted. Of course, nothing is always perfect, but I was given an education. I was able to travel and have a very good upbringing despite everything that I went through. And I can tell you today, it would not have mattered to me if it was 2 males or 2 females. So I'm just saying that if somebody is willing, whether they're male or female, it does not matter as long as we help that individual. They have the money to do it, let them do it. And look at it that way, because there are a lot of children that need help. And it shouldn't matter whether it's male or female or not. That's not what we're talking about.
So
God loves everyone. And as far as I know, when that rain comes down, it comes down on everybody. The only thing that I would like to see maybe visited with the law, and this is because when I've had someone say this to me, they are a single mom who is, they have money, and, they reached out to do an adoption, but because the person was a single mom, I'm not sure that it was given enough attention that it needed. So I would just ask that the panel could probably look at that, because I understand that, you want the best for the family, the best environment, but I think if they check off the list with most of your checklist, that it should be considered.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Thank you very much. And she has a good point there. Single parents, they're single moms who have been successful in raising their children.
Yes.
So they shouldn't be excluded, and certainly based on the criteria that you've pointed out there, individual can be single or can be married as well. So we have about 5 minutes left, so I want you to get in as much information as you need to get out there to our listening and viewing audience.
Okay, thank you. So right now we're looking for all types of people who are willing to foster various types of children, some with special needs. They may be born with a physical or psychological medical condition. Children with mild autism, children who are low functioning. These are the children who need attention the most. If you're out there and you love children and you have the time and willing to commit to fostering, please contact us. I'll let Dermot follow up with information in regards to contacting.
Yeah. So if you are interested in helping, information can be obtained by calling our department, the foster care unit, 949-0290.
Okay, repeat it one more time.
That's 949-0290.
Good, okay.
Or email dcfsfostercare@gov.ky. Alternatively, you could come to our office. We're on the 2nd floor of Apollo House East on Mary Street, and ask to speak to a person on our team. We're starting our new recruitment evening, which would be every 3rd Thursday of the month between 5 and 7:30. So if you are interested, you can always come on that specific day to learn more.
And where does that take place?
In Apollo House East
Okay.
as well, 2nd floor. And we've got a new, I guess, advertising campaign coming up. So you should see more adverts around the island, and bus shelters, supermarkets, places like that, where the information will be on those as well.
Okay, excellent. And for those persons who may apply or may show an interest in terms of the confidentiality of their information and the fact that they have applied or whatever, what do you speak about the assurance of confidentiality?
Yeah, like most of the work in our department, it is all confidential, and we wouldn't be sharing anything sensitive with anyone. It's an individual process that you would go through, or if you're married, it's a couple. But obviously, everything's treated sensitively and confidentially.
Yeah. And as far as foster parents, information on foster parents is not provided to anyone unless it's absolutely necessary, more legal aspect of it. Foster parents' privacy, they have the right to their own privacy as well, even though they're fostering a child. Parents are told in the beginning that they cannot know where their child is living. Mind you, this is a small island.
Yes.
So
one of the
if
challenges,
I see you out in the supermarket, or of course, it is their child rights. Some, depending on what the situation is with the child, sometimes parents are not allowed to see the child, or for a certain amount of time, possibly depending on the situation. But the most part, foster parents' information is held in the strictest of confidentiality.
Okay. Any private or public entities out there that you work with that you want to acknowledge, or?
FRC, Family Resource Center. We do a lot of work with them, as well as we also work with NCBO, who's another part of us as well. They foster some of our children as well, and they also put on great benefits, and they do provide them with a well-rounded enrichment of life.
Okay. Someone has sent a message in and said the point is not adopting. The real point is whether or not these kids in such families will be confused if they're, I don't know.
I'm not, what was the question?
Okay, says here the point is not adopting. The real point is whether or not. Oh, so what they're saying is the issue is really not choosing not to adopt, but whether or not a child will be confused in such family. Oh, I think I know. They're talking about this same-sex marriage thing again, which is something that we're not going to get into at this point in time. There will be an opportunity to get into that when that Privy Council decision comes in the Cayman Islands. But again, Dermot, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, if there's any companies out there as well who would like to get involved in sponsoring some of our children who are in care, who've got quite complex needs, obviously we would like to partner with them to help get them items that they might need. Yeah, we do collaborate with other agencies as well.
Okay, so items as well as possible services also, would it be? Any type of services that they provide that you would be interested in?
We're always open to anyone who's willing to offer assistance. It would be in the children's best interest for them to, advocate on their behalf, to say, oh, you know what, I have this service, or I want to provide this service to children in care, which is, we're always welcome. The door is always open for that.
Okay, well, Mr. Dermot and Ms. Lewis, I want to thank you very much for being here. Thanks for the great job that you're doing as well, and we wish you all the success when it comes to recruitment for foster care parents as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Be a foster parent if you can be. It's quite rewarding. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning